Rocky. Well,
What's up, bro?
how was it being on the ground at EFC87, boy?
Sure. At, well, the last one that I went to was also under a pandemic, but didn't feel too different to the first time with no crowd. I think they were more strict on who was allowed in. From what I could tell, all the fighters were only allowed two cornermen this time.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
I know there are people saying that some guys got cut from their corner, not from positive cases, just because they're trying to limit numbers.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then I'm sure we can talk about that card as well.
I think that's kind of the
I
point of the podcast. There, boy, we're gonna hash it out. But like, yeah, I'm glad that they got a bit more serious on cutting the numbers down. I think that's, the key to success in these times is really dealing with these kind of things and making sure it's done properly. So that's I'm glad to hear that.
Well,
Um,
like previous ones we've been to during this lockdown, sometimes the some of the guys' corners they get quite animated up in the media stands, and actually sounds like there's a crowd. There was none of that this time.
yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good news.
Yeah,
Good news.
but other than that, yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about the card now. I think it was a normal EFC event. Everything went fairly, at least from my side, fairly smoothly.
And short night, boy.
Yo. I would like to see. I wish we had a UFC stats here or fight metric stats because I reckon that's the least amount of strikes thrown in an EFC fight card ever out of all 87 events.
Yeah,
Because
I would imagine so.
I think certain fighters didn't even throw a strike. So yeah.
Yeah, tells a story. It was definitely like that was one of the funny things that came to my mind first. I'm like, well, at least if you've been there and you've been working, you're getting home early because, geez, dude, long
Uh,
gone from the 2 a.m. missions getting
It was
home.
actually super weird because they black it out in there. Obviously for the broadcast, you've got no idea what time of the day it is. So we were like finishing up. We're finishing up, and someone came up to me like, "Yo, the sun's still shining." I was like, "What? It feels like 11 o'clock at night. This feels like a normal EFC."
Yeah,
Yeah, we ended up going home like 7:30. It's awesome.
yeah. So we're just waiting for young Warren King, who's having some internet problems in these epic Corona times, and this is what we're forced to online with old Zoom. Thank goodness for the Zoomy. Um, but yeah, boy, a lot to talk about on the card, I guess. But I'm kind of waiting for Warren so we can really dive into it. But
Yeah, I know he's quite animated about this card, so we'll let him.
yeah,
We'll we'll
just
discuss
a
that with him.
just
But
a
this,
just a footnote on some strange noises you guys might or might not be hearing. It is obviously a COVID disaster, so the kids are at home. I'm at home. So yeah, should be interesting. There's a lot of I've got cats in my studio. I've got a dog that won't leave me alone. Daughter's going crazy. So just bear with us as we try and bring you the best content we can. But yeah, dude, on the card side, like I think being as honest as we can, we all knew that this card was not a great card from the start. We obviously tried to not really bash it and stuff, trying to be cognizant of the times and what's going on in the EFC's landscape, and trying to be like as fair as possible with regards to the card and how it came together and how it was put together. Um, try to be like as objective as possible. The biggest problem I had with the card was a couple of things. I mean, obviously there was a lot of negative feedback. There was a lot of people talking about uh, you know mismatches and stuff, and I think as you were saying, walk with the times and the the way the fight card went in terms of the speed, the strikes thrown, it did lean towards mismatches. But the biggest problem I had on that entire card. Welcome, Mr. King, you back.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long I'm back for. I don't
Successful
know what's going on
reboot.
here.
No
did you add a TV behind you?
Yeah. I've had to like relocate my PC, my laptop. There's something
Okay,
up with
nice.
the Wi-Fi.
I
So
thought you just were staying in the same place, just quickly put a TV up.
No.
2-minute DIY.
It's actually
boy.
meant to be like that, but I don't have a like decent table for it. So
Okay.
Anyways,
yeah.
what I was saying is,
So where we at?
with the card, we just started talking about the card, but like the biggest problem I had was this. There was obviously some dubious matchmaking, but I think trying to be as objective as possible, you know, and someone explained it to me this way, saying,
Oh, you guys got into the juicy stuff without me.
No, we
haven't even
didn't.
started,
No, we
haven't even
we
started.
were talking about all the side stuff. We were talking about, you know, like the starters, the breadsticks. We were waiting for you to hit the mains.
Okay, because I didn't pull any punches when I assessed that card, and the crazy thing is that so many people that you would in the MMA community started messaging me privately like, you're so right, but no one's willing to say anything about it. They're just letting it slide.
Yeah, so I've been kind of waiting for this opportunity to really put down my thoughts. I always feel like this is the best way and the best format to talk about these things, because I think you're not going to get misconstrued in terms of letters written down and words written down. I always feel like this is the best way to do it.
100%.
So where I was getting to, like, trying to be as sympathetic to the EFC situation as possible. And we can be sympathetic to a point, and we can't to a point as well. So the biggest problem I had, and I mean, we spoke about this in length leading up to the card. 2 Kenyan guys. Let's talk about these guys. Hey, Carrie, welcome to the show.
she made a nice little entrance there. She brought me some coffee.
That's service, hey boy.
And my cup even says Seattle on it.
Yes, man. So we were kind of laughing at this situation where you've brought in. We've spoken about this in length. Let's get African people on these cards. If you want to be the powerhouse of Africa, let's get Africans on this card. How you came to the conclusion that you're going to bring 2 African guys who clearly it doesn't, I mean, we figured it out very quickly. We did a couple of searches and stuff. These guys have got no MMA experience. And even if we want to try and be more on their side and their side of the fence, maybe they've got 1 or 2 MMA fights, but we can't see them. We don't know where they were, who they were against, what organization it was in. Or
definitely not at a professional level.
Yeah, not at a professional level.
Definitely not at a professional level.
So that's one thing. You've taken these 2 guys on a whim and on very short notice out of desperation. You've brought in an emerging market like Kenya onto a big African stage. You've thrown them onto the main card. And then not only that, you've given them the worst possible matchups that you could find. You've given them August, who literally will elevate everybody he comes across, dump them on their head. He's incredibly strong. He's got quite a bit of experience now. You know what I mean? And he's surging. And then Mean Machine Mashaba, who's strong as an ox. He's built like a brick shit house for that size. He comes from a very traditionally strong jiu-jitsu gym. How on earth does that make sense to you? Why would you do that to those guys? If you want to get into an African market, that makes no sense. Why would you not shift things around, move things around, and giving them a slightly more, not an easier matchup, but a stylistically more beneficial matchup? If these guys are Muay Thai fighters and they straight up Muay Thai fighters, why would you not give them a striker? Why would you do that? That to me was the biggest problem for me. It made no sense to me, and it seemed like such a waste. It seemed like such a missed opportunity to bring someone like 2 guys from Kenya that obviously have good striking credentials. I think elite striking is a farce. I can't think we can't call someone an elite striker if you've never seen them in action. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. That really left a taste in my mouth.
I think those are the kind of guys you want to give. Like, I got like serious Zulu boy vibes from the first guy. Like, you want to build his career. You know, you want to start him from opening the fight card and give him, like you said, a striker, someone similar to him. I'm sure he will learn I'm sure he'll get subbed along the way, but it's a learning process. To just come in and get whitewashed, I think is fairly heartbreaking.
It was silly in the sense that, like, I mean, flights from Nairobi to Johannesburg are like 4 times the price, 5 times, 6, 7 times the price of a flight from Durban or Cape Town to Johannesburg. It just seemed like it was a waste of money for that type of matchup. You know, we got to see maybe collectively 3 minutes of them in there, and yeah, the matchups weren't great. The fighters they landed up spending money on bringing out here were, you know, I'm not trying to shit on them. Their striking's probably significantly better than mine, but like they weren't of the caliber that you needed all round to have on a main card, or just none of it made sense to me.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. That was the part I left out. I'm glad you brought that up, Warren. Rourke, won't you pull up the card, please, boy?
I was about to say I can't. You are host.
Sorry, dude. That's a great point. Not only have we brought these guys in, we've basically served them to the wolves, and it's cost a lot of money. Like, surely we could have found somebody local. And what I'm picking up online, and it's becoming quite true. It's like we're cycling the same couple of fighters through the fight cards. And I know there's obviously there's a bit of a problem in terms of talent pool, but you know, surely there's other people available. It's, you know, like Billy Oosthuizen was on the first. He's been on all 3 cards, or the first 2, or like in 2 cards in a row.
No, it was 85 and 87. He fought Cam Simon.
So he got choked.
2 of the 3.
He got choked out inside the second round, and then you made him a co-main event against a guy who's 4-10. Okay, granted, Cesar won. You know, and then not only that, you're trying to tell me that this is a fight to watch. It's not a fight to watch. Come on, man. It's not. It's just not. It's a freedom fight at best. You know what I mean? And then, okay, Zico, I don't know how we keep getting his name wrong, Makengele, you know, short notice, Christian Bobo, short notice. I mean, he's literally, he's the star of the card at the moment. He's the only thing you're looking forward to, really. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, his performance was very impressive.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude. He's an absolute beast.
Let me tell you, Cesar's performance was very impressive. I was very
it was.
That was a great performance on his side.
Well, if you think how long it took,
I don't know how you get promoted from after having a loss like the Cam Simon loss. How you get promoted to co-main event immediately? Like, it doesn't make sense against someone who's even on their pro record. You know, it's like you got someone 4-4 versus 11-11 or 10-11, and then, you know, like they get pushed up into the co-main event. That was like my biggest problem with this last card is that everyone that was on this card, well, not everyone, but the majority of the people on this card, their records didn't warrant their position on the main card. You know, like, not to shit on everyone, but I mean, you had guys 4-4, 10-11. You had guys that had more losses than wins fighting on the main event, on the main card of what they want to say is a global event being broadcast to America, Europe. Like, is that the best representation of African MMA? In my opinion, it isn't. Like,
so I thought about this long and hard, and you're kind of sitting in the situation where you're almost clutching at straws in the fact that you're trying to fill out cards for broadcasting responsibilities. And I mean, we've spoken till we blue in the face. We're in the situation where the EFC is still trying to create this African UFC in everything else except for the talent, and that's where the frustration is. So now you got a paid app service. So if you want to watch your prelims and content, you've got to pay a monthly subscription. I mean, there's no guessing where that idea came from. You know what I'm saying? So but you wanna. I
must say that stream was pretty good though, right?
Yeah.
That's like the best stream they've ever had. So it was solid. There was no glitches. Like, it was pretty good.
So from what I understand from the stream, they're not using the normal like internet kind of stream. They're using the satellite. So the same kind of picture that goes out to your TV is what they're using for the streaming, which is good. And it's a massive.
It worked well.
It's a massive step forward. you know. But especially in these times, this stuff is going to become so important, because I think we're going to be like this without fans for a very long time. So these are where the differences are going to be made, you know. So
yeah,
with all of that being said, you're in a situation where you're kind of clutching at straws to fill out these broadcasting sort of agreements, but at the same time, like, you know, you a card like this card, if we're honest, we could have skipped. And at the same, like, if it was me in the position putting on, and I had to put this card on, I said, look, guys, like, you know, if I'm going back to Cairo, whoever, I'm saying, like, listen, this isn't the greatest card, if we're honest, but we need to put a card out. I would have moved this card to a Friday night. I would have built it more as like a prospect kind of card, you know, like a fight night,
yeah.
like a UFC kind of does their fight night. And I would have made the card smaller. I would have done 8 fights. You know what I mean?
8 fights made the most sense, especially with the lockdown restrictions, the curfew. I mean, guys who had to get there. I mean, the fights were meant to start at like 12 o'clock or just after 12. I mean, it seemed weird to like force this like 12 or 11 fight card in a time where time is very limited. You could have for sure scrapped some of those fights that landed up being on there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, like, this is my boy, Brian Surratt. Like, if you're that dude now, like, what do you do? Like, how are you feeling, man? You know what I mean? You had this, I suppose you've had this big opportunity, and it's just either you've thought to yourself, well, I better go find some jiu-jitsu in Kenya, or fuck that, I'm never going back there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, there is that Nairobi Fight Club. I mean, there is jiu-jitsu in Kenya. It's just like, is Kenya like the kind of market that's already started galvanizing all the different martial arts styles to create mixed martial arts athletes? I mean, it's it seems like that community is very segregated in their training. You know, like Muay Thai is like an MMA community there.
Oh, there we go. One tribe BJJ.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There are jiu-jitsu gyms and there are kickboxing gyms or Muay Thai gyms, but I don't believe that they've got a community that's like, that's like galvanized all those elements together, you know? Sorry, I got weird fucking things in the background clicking and going crazy.
No worries. So maybe an opportunity for any young MMA prospects on here that want to head to Kenya and get some MMA going. But so let's
here we go. Yeah, check.
Whoa.
All right, I thought this was gyms. This is just there.
I was gonna say, slow down now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of white belts.
Like, what else did you want to say about the card in a negative light, where then we can try and find the positives, I guess, and find the balance.
In a negative light, I don't know, dude. Like, I think we've covered like the basis of what we're upset about, you know, or that we're disappointed in. You know, it wasn't like it was a surprise on Saturday to see that card was just literally the weakest card we've ever seen. We knew it going into that night that it was the weakest card that we would see. And I mean, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus here, but you know, notable people in the community, all like, after I posted that thing about it being the worst card in history, like very notable people in the community messaging me like, you're completely right. It was actually a disgrace. And I wouldn't go as far as saying it was a disgrace, but it definitely didn't shine a bright light on African MMA and give us like this warm fuzzy feeling that there's a great future on the African continent, you know.
And this is the biggest problem.
Great athletes, but none of them were.
Sorry, carry on, boy.
No, I was just saying we've got great athletes, but none of them, but not many of them were actually on display this past weekend.
Yeah. So this is the thing for people listening in. Like, we're obviously not here to bash the EFC and kick it while it's down. More than anything, we want the EFC to flourish. That's what we all want. It's our home show. It's without the EFC, we've got a massive hole, and we want them to be successful. And all of this kind of like frustration that we feel is all because we're fans of the sport and because we love the sport, and we're in a position to kind of express our opinions, and our opinion is that we're not getting the best representation. That being said, I know the next card is going to be better, and you know, we've got a great main event. there's talks of, I think they're talking about like Martin van Staden versus Jose de Rocha, if that can still happen with the next batch of don't go to the website, boys, not gonna be anything there, with the next batch of COVID restrictions, you know, like all of these kind of things. So I'm kind of really hoping that you know, we can still bounce back. But it's exactly what you said. We're frustrated as fans, you know what I mean? We know we can do better. We know the show can be much better. We know the talent is much better. And to like, I was kind of wondering to see what the reaction was going to be during and after the event. And I besides like people like egging on their guys, like the fans and that who support each individual person, were kind of like, let's go, you know, like good luck, that kind of thing. Besides that, everything I saw was negative, and it was a lot of negative. And I'm not talking about diehard fans. I'm talking about guys who tune in on once in a while on a Saturday. You know, like the guys that are dialed in know it's a weak card. But people who don't know and still seeing that that's a weak card, I feel like that's always where you've got the biggest problem. You know, where you've missed the kind of, I want to say casual fan. I don't really like this casual fan thing.
Sorry, I'm back again.
No worries. You know, so I feel like the card did more bad than good, and I think that's a big disappointment.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Then we can
So who's
we can
who's
talk
up
about
next card?
we can talk about the winners and losers from this card, like the guys who definitely shone through despite his surroundings.
Yeah,
I think
Caesar was a big one that we mentioned.
For sure. I think he's looking solid now that he's got like a solid camp. It feels, I don't know how long he's been there, but it feels like he's been there longer than he's been in most places. So
no, but I thought Caesar's performance was really good. You know, like Luke Michael completely dominated from beginning to end. It wasn't like there wasn't a moment that Dino had fight, unfortunately. August obviously did what he did. You know, like those good performances, but I mean, those are the drips and drabs of positives that we can drag out of that.
And that Makangela, he was, and Chris
that
Duff,
guy's
what
a
am I
beast,
saying?
bro. That guy's a beast. That Makangela is an absolute savage.
Dude, he's an animal.
He's like on a one-way track to a title shot. I mean, that oak's just steamrolling Oaks.
I think you're going to see a couple of welterweights dropping down to lightweight when he gets there.
Yes, bro. The division's going to clear out quick sticks. I mean,
dude, I couldn't.
That guy's like bodied up. Like he's got. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the most technical guy, but he's got a decent level of technique. He's got like a little bit of. He's got some judo. He's got striking. He's got a bit of grappling. Like he's definitely like one of the future stars of the UFC.
Yeah, dude, Chris Duff as well showed some pretty good jiu-jitsu transitions.
Chris
you'd expect that out of a Gracie Academy athlete, right?
Chris Duff looked good. He just looked a little rusty, which is understandable. Like, you know, piecing it all together wasn't as smooth as it could have been. You know, like, I don't know, it's weird. He's one of those guys you hold to a really high standard. You know, you expect to see like great technical changes and exchanges from him, but good, man. And what a story, bro. What a story.
Yeah,
dude, he hasn't had the smoothest of rides over the last years.
Yeah. So nice to have him back and in the pool. We mentioned something that, Warren, so you asked about the next card. So we've got, it's going to be the heavyweight title between Tabani Mendebela and Triple H Chikasa. And then there's talks of Martin van Staden versus Jose de Rocha on that card. I don't know how far those talks are, but if it's,
I mean, that would be a good fight, right?
That's kind of like I don't know if I'd put that on the same card. I'd save that for a main event, you know?
Yeah,
especially the way things are going. One of the things I wanted to try and talk about today is who are the names that's being left out that could be on the card. You know what I mean? We saw the return of Boyd. We saw the return of Martin. You know, guys like Christoph coming back, Luke Michael back in action. But who are the guys that are around that we could be using? In my head, there's so many guys that are signed to Brave and to other organizations that can't really leave right now. That to me it's a miss. I mean, we could do if the relationship is right, you know, give Brave a call, like, look, we want to keep these guys active. Could we maybe do a 1-fight deal with them? Let's kind of hash it out. and keep the guys active, you know, because we don't know how long the situation is going to last. And I feel like, I mean, like names that come to mind straight away, Stephen Gonzalez. In course, he might be a bit of a tough one because he's surging at Brave. Danshil Mudley.
Look, I think the Brave guys are actually able to still currently fight at the moment, right? Because I mean, like Steve just had a fight, Brendan Lazard just had a fight, Chad just had a fight. I think the Brave guys
wasn't too long ago.
Of course, he had a fight during this past few months. Like, I think the Brave guys are still actually active. It's those guys that signed to Aries that haven't been able to have an outlet.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Aries obviously put everything on hold. But I mean, you know what the biggest problem is that you're going to see now, and some of the guys messaged me about it as well, is that they could fight for the EFC, but they're not willing to fight for the compensation that's being offered. And I'm not shitting on the EFC for that. You know, like that's the current situation, and we just need to accept that that's the current situation. But some guys aren't willing to put in 8 weeks of a fight camp, go there, have like a hard 3-round or 5-round fight for the type of compensation that's being offered, you know?
Yeah. Well, look at this weekend's event. It was, I mean, we lost the main event through the chaos, or one half of the main event. And what actually really brought this fight to light was sponsors jumping in and offering more money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know we're trying to use the shares and stuff, but like, I can't go and cash those shares out tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, we've got bills to pay and stuff like that. Like, it's not working in the interim. Like, maybe in the long run, if you don't need money, like, I don't know if there's fighters that don't need money right now, that maybe it's going to benefit them. But like, you know, the kind of money is always going to be a problem. And that's what we're starting to see on the cards. But I mean, for the show to carry on going, that's going to have to change, because it's just going to keep dipping. And then you're going to be in a situation where you didn't have money to spend to get the right kind of fights, which is, it's just going to sink the ship anyway. So surely there's got to be a new form of negotiation and a different kind of tactic to get the right fights on the right cards. Otherwise, it's going to get dirty.
So do you guys know if Zach's UAE Warriors contract is exclusive, or was it like a one-off deal and he's coming back to the EFC off?
Luke would like Zach in a middleweight title fight.
Because I mean, Zach must be one of the biggest draws in local MMA at the moment, right? Like, I can't think of anyone bigger than that currently that's active.
Yeah, I hear you. You mean for the it's true.
That they can obviously apply their trade locally. I mean, Drickus is a bigger name, Don's a bigger name, Dolch's a bigger name. All those guys are bigger names, but what I'm saying is that they can't necessarily apply trade locally. So surely Zach, in my opinion, Zach should be the poster boy of the EFC now. Yeah. I mean, you got like a good looking young lad that's bodied up, has a lot of skill, undefeated. Like, if I had any sort of marketing budget, I'd be throwing it all the way behind Zach to try and make this guy a superstar. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. So when I spoke to him, he was saying that he still has intentions of fighting in the EFC, and it is still a possibility. But I mean, who knows? I think you're right though. I think there's a couple of what I was thinking about this morning is we've lost a massive hole in terms of Drickus, for example, who was a huge star. And this, I think I was saying it to you guys, this is where I'm getting frustrated with the EFC, is that we're doing the same thing we've been doing. There's no reinvention, there's no new thinking, there's no moving with the modern times. Why are we not using Drickus, Don, Dolce as ambassadors? Like, why are we not getting getting in touch with these guys, getting them to do stuff for the organization, kind of things that don't cost money, you know what I mean? Simple things, putting content out, letting them help with content, breaking down fights, giving us, I mean, I know, okay, Boyd did the breakdown show with Simon Stevens for this previous one, which is cool, and that's a good step, and we've got Soldier Boy on the mic and those kind of things. But why are we not using these guys? I mean, you know, I keep going back to the instance where Graham was going on about Israel Adesanya must come here and Kamaru Usman must come here and promote the sport. That's not. You've got these UFC stars especially, I mean, if Drickus gets a win this weekend, he's going to be catapulted into a new dimension completely. You know,
well, he's going to break the top 20, right?
He's
With
massive.
a win this weekend.
And here locally, his star power since the first fight has been massive, and it's going to triple. You know what I mean? So why are we not finding a way to use Drickus as an EFC ambassador of some kind? Why is he, just because he's not signed doesn't mean we must forget about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many other things we could be doing. You know what I mean? I can tell you now, in my opinion, EFC is not assessing there's going to, two things are going to happen in my head. I don't know if we get to Worlds this year. And if we do, it's not going to be easy, which means there's going to be this massive pool of guys and girls that have held on for Worlds that now don't have a place to go. So the obvious intention is going to be to turn pro. Are we engaging with these people? Do we know who they are? The next crop of talent to come up into the EFC, and how we're going to use them and how we're going to structure them in. There's a long list of these guys and really, really talented people out there in the amateurs. These are going to be your future. My concern is that there's absolutely no conversation with those kind of guys as well. So those are the kind of things we could be doing. You know what I mean? Like we've opened up shares, but you want to get people to invest, but like it's tough to get people to invest after. And this is one of the things I saw a lot of, seeing that card. People like, people want us to invest in the sport or in the EFC, and you know, this is the kind of production we're dealing with. Like it's, man, it's a strange situation.
Well, that's super tough, dude. It's like if you're trying to, you know, like when you take a business proposal to a potential investor, you put your best foot forward. You know, you show them all the nice stuff, but it's kind of difficult when we had a card like that this past weekend. You know, where guys are straight. Like, I mean, Simon and Gareth were struggling to like promote these guys, you know, like difficult. It's difficult to like promote guys where like either they don't have a phenomenal like fan-friendly personality, you know, like or if they don't have like a phenomenal history in MMA or upbringing. They were like really like clutching at straws to try and like hype these guys up, and it was so difficult, you know, like potential investors seeing that they're like, you know, this isn't, rather go invest in boxing, you know.
That's the thing. Anyways, lads, I think it's a long road for the EFC, and I mean, we're obviously always in their corner and trying to make things from our perspective, trying to hype up and report as much as we can and then really support them, but it's just not easy at the moment, man. I mean, even from a media side, I've got no communication. I don't even know what's going on half the time. If I know something, it's because I've had to go and figure it out. It's just, man, it's a strange situation, dude. It's not they're not doing themselves any favors right now, you know.
No,
and they're not including anybody, you know what I mean? Like, why not include us? Not to say that we're the gods of MMA, but we're here, we have a presence, you know what I mean? Like, include us, let us do things, let us help, let us promote, let us talk to us, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree with you, dude.
Man, it's a strange time. Anyways,
sad situation.
Let's have a look at the beauty of the pay-per-view, and this is the next problem, because you go from that last weekend and now you get this UFC pay-per-view for free not for free, you paid DSTV subscription on your DSTV, and you're like, well, fuck, dude.
Dude, this card is unbelievable. You know, like I was thinking about it, you know, they normally have a Independence Day weekend card, and it's normally a big card, but they scrapped that this year and they put on arguably one of the best cards we've seen in like a decent time.
Yeah, this is it. And it's nothing like a McGregor fight week, dude.
Jesus.
So this is where
I mean, you got Ryan Hall's return, you got Drickus.
Like,
I might be wrong. I need to go check again, but I think Betway had Ryan Hall as underdog, for this fight.
Dude, Ilya Topuria is an absolute savage, bro. Obviously on the feet. I don't know how much ground game. Do you guys remember Ilya Topuria almost lost to Steven Gonzalez?
Yeah, but then he KO'd him, right?
Yeah, dead. And then he's just been on this like tear, man. And he just seems to be knocking people out dead. That being said, I mean, I don't know how his Imanari roll defense is, but good luck.
Bro, Ryan Hall is on like a next level when it comes to MMA grappling, dude. Like his ability to, you know, like he uses like a kick heavy game and then like just unconventional entries for like the MMA for like MMA grappling, you know, like it's conventional stuff that you see a lot in like jiu-jitsu, but he's he's transitioned his grappling from jiu-jitsu to MMA so well. Because often you see like jiu-jitsu world champions, like you look at Sergio Mirage, he came into the UFC and he struggled. He actually got like out-grappled by one or two of the guys, and you're like, but this guy's like one of the greatest jiu-jitsu guys to ever like compete. And then you like realize that like he hasn't like transitioned his like conventional Brazilian jiu-jitsu over to MMA grappling, you know. But Ryan Hall has done that so smoothly.
Dude, he's a savage. Don't you find like the newer version, his kick heavy game, like you said, it's like that dude on Tekken, it's just hitting the same kick all the time.
Yeah.
Just like left kick, right kick, left kick, right kick, left kick.
Well,
right
he throws lots of
roll,
high
take
kicks,
a
but
leg.
then but he's also like doing a lot of like taekwondo style kick. Like, have you seen him do that hook kick?
Yeah.
Where he comes up and he just hooks around the head, and like I'm a fan of that kick, but I mean, like, you don't see that a lot in MMA. But I mean, he's got this very unique style, and I mean, he's obviously had a lot of success since no one wants to fight him. But
yeah, this is a great fight, dude. It's actually stylistically an insane fight. I mean, obviously we know one wants to keep it standing, one wants to get it to the ground. It's going to be, and Ilia Topuria is strong as all F, dude. So I'm super jacked. Even the one above, Nico Price versus Michel Pereira.
We skipped over our
So we're gonna
local
go
guy.
back there.
Yeah,
We're gonna go back there, bro.
we're going forward and then we'll come back. Okay, cool.
So we can talk about trickers.
No, let's go.
It's an interesting fight to me. Trevin Giles, I mean, obviously they because of the visa stuff, Trevin Giles still went on for another fight and beat I think it was Roman Dolidze, who's a just dude. That's a tough win, and it's a kind of win that's going to give him a lot of confidence, you know.
yeah.
And I think
Trevin Giles is no walkover by any stretch of the imagination.
No, dude. I just want to say it was Roman Dolidze. Yeah, Roman Dolidze. I mean, who's a wrestling heavy kind of Georgian guy who's, dude, that's not, it's a ground win, you know what I mean? That's one you gotta be focused all the time. And he's a big, strong set of hair on him. Yeah, so, you know, he's gonna be super confident after a win like that. What's he on? Just to look at those last wins: James Krause, Bevan Lewis, Roman Dolidze.
Right. That's why, like, you know, like this, it's a tough fight, and I think if Drickus gets through this one with the win, he definitely gets catapulted. I mean, after his first win, he got catapulted into the top 35.
Yep.
A win here gets him into the top 25 at least, top 20. Then you're starting to talk like serious matchups, you know?
Yeah.
And another win there gets you in like top 15, you know, like Drickus's rise in the UFC could be super quick.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think to be honest, like they're looking for someone like that right now. You know what I mean? Like a proper someone fighting out of Africa. You know what I mean? To really stand up. And I think so. There's going to be a lot behind him. Did you guys see the video of him with Tyson Fury?
Tyson Fury, yeah.
How awesome is that?
Him and McKeel doing their thing in the background there.
It's so epic. Apparently, there's another show where they actually mention him quite a bit. I'm gonna try to figure it out today. I think it's one of the things on like Fight Pass or something. One of the like fight anthologies or something for the week coming.
Hey, they're investing a lot of money in testing the oak as well. So I mean, 17 tests this year already. Like, but they're basically camping outside of his door at this stage.
Yeah, every morning.
Fuck, dude.
He should just.
It was that comment from Felder where he's like, "This guy hasn't eaten a Snickers bar his whole life." That comment, Jeff Nowitzki hopped onto that. He was like, "Okay, I'm gonna test you all the time."
Yeah, I wonder if they tested if he's ever had a Snickers just for interest sake. No,
you know, the thing is that after this fight week, he becomes the most tested, right? Because he's going to have a minimum of 2 tests this week, potentially 3. So he goes up to 20, becomes the most tested athlete in the UFC.
That's mental, dude. That is mental. Go back to the website. Go on. Okay, Nico Price, Michel Pereira, first team.
It's a good fight.
Carlos Condit, yeah, boy, versus Max.
Yeah, boy.
This is not, bro, the UFC doesn't play. This is not a good fight for Carlos Condit.
No, dude, not at all. You got like a young gun that's like on his rise, and you know, like that obvious. It's so evident that they're giving Carlos to this guy, so this guy can catapult his star power.
Yeah, but also Carlos is on that high wage, my man. They need to get him out.
But Carlos, you know, like his last fight wasn't bad, dude. Like he started like his last fight was against Matt Brown was much better than his return fight.
The thing is with a guy like Max Griffin, his style is very pressure based. He takes a lot of shots. He's going to come forward at him, and he's going to really put him under pressure. And it's not like Carlos needs that kind of range to like pick you apart. You know what I mean? I think at this stage of his career, where he's a little bit slower, he's lost that yard of pace. A guy like Max Griffin is just bad news for him. Coming forward.
Have you noticed how every time Max has had to step up an opponent, though, that's been like he's been like, that's been his Achilles heel, because he gets Curtis Melenda, loses that decision. Thiago Alves, that fight was flipping super, it was like super tight. But then also doesn't get the nod there. Morono, Cowboy Oliveira, like he just hasn't been able to break through on that like upper tier of guys yet.
Sure. Feel you. Back to the card, boy. Oh, Carlos. May the force be with you, my brother.
I love that meme about Sean O'Malley and the wish. Sean O'Malley that you get in the wish version.
Wish version of himself.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Dude, funny one. This is a strange one. I mean, like Louis Smolka was a pretty good fight.
Why didn't they make that happen?
He pulled out injured.
I mean, who was the guy that put his hand up to fight? He said he would do it on short notice. It was
Merab Diashvili.
Yeah, I mean, like, why don't you make that happen?
Yeah, because Merab is 100% going to wrestle his face off.
Oh, this looks making his UFC debut.
Yeah, dude, like a literal nobody.
This is like fighting some dude from Kenya.
Okay, so but this is the thing. And this is the thing. If the UFC, if there were guys in the UFC actually paying attention to what's really going on to UFC, we as like hardcore fight fans, we don't like. This is frustrating. Like a guy like Sean O'Malley he's getting served, dude. Come on, it's no secret. I don't think it's a secret. He's getting served a fight that he should win.
Yeah,
he is in their minds the future big pay-per-view star. So I don't know. I'm not against it, dude. I'm like, let's build him. I got no problem with that. Build him, let him get his confidence, let him get his reps, and then we'll start to feed him a little bit. I think they jumped the gun a little bit with Cheeto. They were like, okay, because if he beats Cheeto, then he's up there. He's the real deal. Didn't work.
Yeah.
They're like, it's fine. He's still undefeated, as he says. Let's start giving him more stylistic friendly fights. You know what I mean, for his style, and see how that goes. I think that's the right play. Like within reason. I mean, you can't give him a guy that's 0-3-1, like we've seen on the weekend. But let's give him stylistically friendly fights in hopes that he can emerge as this big pay-per-view star. There's no shame in doing that in the EFC. You know what I mean? Like if there's like this Makengele, for example, and Zach, let's find them the right opponents. You know what I mean? Let's get them in the mix.
Yo, Makengele versus Zach. Imagine that fight.
This guy fought Will Smith. Bro. What the heck?
Exhibition fight, boy.
They must have been on a Triller card.
So this Chris Moutinho, where is he coming from? LFA, I'm assuming.
Not even.
CFFC. Cage Fury is also good, dude.
Cage Fury,
not a shit show.
Big feeder to the UFC.
I mean, Cage Fury gave us Weidman, Hall, Pumi's the current champion there. Tom DeBlas fought there. That whole like East Coast fight scene kind of gets fed through Cage Fury.
Good show.
Yeah, but still, this guy shouldn't get it.
Look, I mean, this is very similar to when Khabib pulled out of the Tony Ferguson fight, and then they threw Lando Venata at him, and then Lando dropped him in the first round, right? So I mean, like anything can happen, you know. Like Lando, people forget Lando almost derailed the Tony Ferguson hype one time on his debut.
That was
close, and while Lando hasn't really like put it all together in his career in the UFC, I mean, he's a strong fighter that came out of nowhere on short notice.
It's true. Irene Aldana versus Yana Kutsikaya.
You know, if he beats Sean O'Malley can just control, delete, uninstall his UFC career, I think.
No, he'll just remain undefeated in his mind.
True.
you have to believe that Ariel Aldana is going to box the shit out of Kunitskaya,
dude.
right?
Yeah. Straight up. Good fight though. This one, I think this is. I love how we've just like everyone's just forgotten. Greg Hardy's just a good guy now. We've all just forgotten. Like,
Oh, I hope Tatu
doesn't matter
versus
what he
Smith.
does. It doesn't matter. He can fuck up in the ring. He can fuck up out the ring. He can fuck up his whole NFL career. Like everyone just keeps getting past it. Like no issue. You know, Tatu of us is going to send him to destination fuck though this weekend.
I hope so, dude. I hope so. One thing about Greg Hardy, bro, is that that oak has got some scary power, my man. Scary power. It's the most non-technical power I've ever seen, but fuck, bro, you can put your lights out.
Dude, he definitely can't. I mean, if Tatu of us lands, like Greg Hardy is definitely not going to be able to like get through that, dude.
No, for sure. But don't you think it's kind of like a situation now where it's like Tyron Woodley versus Logan Paul, or whichever Paul he's fighting? Like Tatu Vasa is like Tyron Woodley. Like, we need you for this one, Ty. We need you to pull through here, buddy. We need you to end this shit. Please, 100%. Please put an end to it.
He needs to start this guy.
Have you seen that Mondo Boxing Club in Miami, Florida? It's basically like it's a world-class like boxing gym, but it's just ex-MMA fighters that have either like transitioned over to like bare knuckle or boxing or these exhibition celebrity matches. Just like this whole, like there are barely any real boxers there. It's just like this ex-UFC alumni just lining up and doing their boxing thing.
That's amazing.
Sounds like somewhere I don't want to train.
Yeah, it's interesting it's an interesting fight. Obviously, I mean, I don't think you're even going to smell a takedown unless Tatu Vasa's been wrestling his face off in Thailand or wherever he's been.
You might be surprised that maybe Greg Hardy comes in with a bit of a takedown and thinks because like that has been Tatu Vasa's weakness in the UFC. It's like he can't really face the heavy wrestlers.
Yeah.
You might find Greg Hardy utilizes a wrestling heavy game. I mean, he definitely must have some takedowns in his arsenal. Sure. And I mean, he's at ATT, so I mean, he's got all the knowledge there to assist him with that. But you just have to believe that Tatu of us is just way too much for him.
Yeah, just technically.
We can only hope.
Yeah, we can only hope. Co-main, man, I've been trying to like really get into this fight. I'm so intrigued by it. Again, you'd kind of think that it's that kind of fight where if it hits the deck, Gilbert Burns wins all day. If it doesn't hit the deck, he's going to have a long night. And I've been trying to figure out like how does Gilbert Burns get this fight to the deck? I mean, obviously, if he can close the distance, he should get it done. But I mean, Wonderboy is so hard to close on that distance, and you eat so much. I mean, I think from Wonderboy's side, you're going to see a lot of that front side kick. Like the one he used against Vicente Luque that sat him down twice. A lot of leg kicks, a lot of movement. I don't think we're going to see as many like forward blitzes. I don't think he'll risk that unless he really sees the opportunity. I think Wonderboy is going to keep this at a distance, man, and it's so hard to figure that out. I suppose when Wonderboy really adopts that wide karate stance and that front leg is kind of almost there for a single leg sort of attempt, but he's tall, he's long, he's hard to deal with. Yeah, it's going to be so intriguing to see how Gilbert Burns approaches this closing this distance.
I mean, I feel like ideally for Burns, he wants to try and like cut him off on the cage and get his back up to the cage and use cage wrestling to try and get him to the ground. I think any like freestyle wrestling style takedown is going to be quite difficult on Wonderboy. I think stylistically, I think Wonderboy gets the nod, and unless I don't think that this is going to be a finish. I think we're going to see like this like grindy type of fight. It's like I also don't know if it's going to be like a fan-friendly fight. I think Wonderboy knows he can't go to the ground with him, and I think Burns knows that he can't play in that range, that kicking range. And then like they're going to try and cover the distance quickly, and I think Burns are going to be trying to like cut him off a little bit, but then also is not going to overcommit to like closing the distance because of the kick. So yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I mean, ideally Burns wants to get him onto the cage and take him down off the cage and just work him from there. But yeah, that's a big ask.
I think that battle is going to be so intriguing, man. I think it's going to be it's like that fight where if you want to finish the fight, someone's going to have to take a major risk. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I was trying to think about Wonder Boy and like how much power he really has. But he dropped Vicente Luque, and one of very few to cause problems for Luque, who's a tough bastard. You know, yeah, man, intriguing. I feel like also I don't know if it's really being bought that way, but definitely a number one contender. I think the winner here.
I don't know, it has been. I think they are billing it as Burns can get back into the number one contender spot, and then a lot of like the narrative leading up to this has been that Wonder Boy has had 2 shots at the title, but that was against Woodley, and now there's a new head of the division that he can go up against.
I for sure want to see Wonder Boy versus Kamaru, man. I think that's such a good fight.
I think Kamaru dominates him, bro. To be honest with you,
I think Kamaru dominates everybody, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to start feeling for Kamaru. Like, how is he not the number one pound for pound at the moment?
Ridiculous. He'll get there. He'll get there. And then obviously the talk of the town.
Poirier versus McGregor.
I'm so I love a McGregor fight. Don't get me wrong. I do love it, but it becomes quite hilarious now at the point where like I don't know, man. Some of Conor's fans they're just funny. They're just weird. Like
I'm going all in with Conor on this one. I reckon he gets it done.
Yeah, dude. You have to
torn. I'm so torn.
He's the king of rematches.
He is for sure, but it's man. I don't know. I
So
just feel like he's too far gone.
Even if you take the king of rematches element out, you take like the statistical element that he's always won, like the rematch after he's lost. If you look at the first fight, he actually wobbled Poirier in the first round. Yeah. So if he can put a game plan together that like that can kind of like nullify, because I think Poirier's going to come and wrestle a little bit more this time than he did last time, and I think if he can like effectively nullify like all the lower body, because Poirier is going to throw the calf kick, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be as big of a focus as it was in the first fight. You know.
I think whatever happens, everyone needs to be ready to see what technique they'll be drilling next week in the gym. 2 fights ago, it was the shoulder. Last one was the calf kick. So everyone keep your eyes open.
Yeah, get ready.
I think stylistically it makes for a super close fight again, and I kind of have to like edge it towards McGregor that he gets the KO somewhere in the second, maybe third round.
Do you think this fight can go 5 rounds?
Maybe late first, early second, he gets the KO. Like that's what I'm guessing at this stage.
I reckon if it goes past the second, Poirier's got this for sure.
But like complete fighter, Poirier is definitely the package, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to feel so champion in an environment where he is the number one guy in the division right now, but he's not the champion. Like it's just, and when he was fighting for the title, you had to deal with one of the greatest of all time in Khabib. Like,
sure,
it's just difficult for that guy.
What I want to see, where I'll really get excited, I want to see the braggadocious Conor throwing shade, talking shit at the press conference, coming out there like a ball of confidence. I want to see him come out in the side karate style, throwing hook kicks, throwing flying knees, mixing it up. That's what I want to see. That'll get me excited. You know what I mean? This boxing Conor, dude, like we saw in the Poirier fight, and I think Conor, he's one thing about Conor, he knows how to take a loss. You know, and I think he would have gone back and said, listen, let's stick to what got us to the dance. You know what I mean? Let's get in his
didn't
face
he
a
build
little
a
bit.
whole new gym in Southern California?
Yeah, he did.
Flew everyone over there for the past couple of weeks too.
And a noticeable inclusions, guys like Peter Queally, Kieran O'Rourke, these kind of guys that have been with him for a long time. You know what I mean? Back in the camp, which makes me. I want to see the Conor that basically ended Eddie Alvarez. That's the Conor I want to see.
Yeah. No, agreed.
That'll get me jacked up. So yeah.
Good card. And we've got a whole week of build up.
Wait, hold on. Let's start from the beginning, Warren.
Yeah.
Calm down.
So I'll give you all of mine, then you give all of yours, and then I'll give all of his. Like, how's that?
Okay, let's
Okay.
do it, Ryan.
Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Moutinho beats O'Malley, just 'cause I don't like that dude. I think Aldana, Tuivasa, scroll up. Thompson, McGregor.
Oh,
And I want Burns to win. Don't get me wrong, I want Burns to win, but I think Thompson kind of gets it done.
let's hear it, Rocky.
I'm going McGregor, Burns, Tuivasa, Aldana, and Chris Moutinho.
Oh, these are hard choices over here.
I'm gonna go. I think all on the left here. Oh no, wait. O'Malley, Aldana, Tuivasa, Thompson, and DP. That's how I know McGregor's gonna win because I chose DP.
Don't get me wrong, this Moutinho Oak might be dead shit, and he might even be like a worse person than O'Malley.
But it's like
right?
when Yannick Bahati.
But we
it's
don't
like
know
when
that
Yannick.
yet.
But it's like when Yannick Bahati fights, yeah. Like you can't pick, even if he's the crazy favorite, you can't pick Yannick Bahati. Just that's how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, like this Chris Moutinho guy, he might be like an actual like worst person to have to deal with in the future. You know, like with his personality and all his bullshit. But we don't know that yet, so you're gonna roll the dice on this one, you know?
Yeah, interesting fight. I know I'm gonna be asked the question of times, 1,000 times. Please, guys, to find the time on Friday or Saturday of what time the fights are gonna be. It's very easy. What you have to do is you have to go like this on your phone and just scroll down on the Big Al Podcast Instagram, just like this, until you see the picture that'll tell you the times and where to watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you've done that now, but you're still gonna get the question.
I know 100%. I've literally I get people commenting on that picture what time the fights are. I'm like,
sometimes it's me just trying to irritate you.
I know. And the McGregor fight card's the worst, dude. What time will McGregor be fighting? I'm like, yo.
Oh jeez, like it.
I don't have it.
Normally about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna just start screwing with people and be like, it's actually 7 p.m. Monday night, brother. Alrighty, guys. Exciting card. I'm super jacked. It's nice. Connor card is always a fun one. It's an intriguing rematch. I think it's a great card. Massive shout out to Drickus Duplessis. I'm actually chatting to him tomorrow, I think, from Vegas. Yeah, I think Drickus gets a win here. I think the UFC's got a new star, and I think we're gonna have even bigger star power back here at home. So super exciting times. Best of luck to Drickus and his team. Yeah, man. Let's keep the love going. I know he gets a lot of it, but let's just keep it going.
Sweet.
Awesome. Gents.
Cool, boys.
Chat, guys.
Soon. Hopefully this is all over soon. Stay safe. Wash your hands, you animals. Chat to you soon. Peace.